Hi, I'm Jason Hurtis. Today, we're going to be talking about and giving you the inside scoop about interoperability. We all know that connections are important, especially in this particular environment. Employees working together, being remote, using Skype, Zoom, Teams to communicate, it's critically important to make sure that your employees are staying on task and you're achieving the mission. I would argue the same thing needs to happen on the job site. The fleet and the machines need to be connected so that they can also talk to your employees to make sure that they're staying on task and staying on mission. To help us through this connection segment, we're going to break it down into some real simple, easy pieces. First, we're going to talk about hardware and software. What you need to know, what works with what does not work with what. One of the questions we get asked a lot from contractors is about great technology, and it flows greatly into this topic of interoperability, that you can use great technology on different systems. We're going to cover Ask an Expert, where we will answer a lot of the questions that we get through that forum here in this particular format. We'll be using the Caterpillar experts throughout this entire sequence. These are experts that work in the field with you. Last but significantly not least, we will give you an abundance of resources that you can use on your particular job site. Hopefully that sounds exciting. It's exciting to me. So come on, let's get started.
Scott, interoperability is a newer solution available to our customers today that allow base stations of one brand to interact and seamlessly communicate with machine control and guidance of a different brand. Now I realize there's probably some hardware and software involved here, is that correct?
Yes, it's not just as easy as that, but there are parts of the puzzle that you put together and all of a sudden the done puzzle gives you that solution that you're looking for as a customer.
Gotcha. So we hear a lot about base stations. Can you help me? Do we start at the base station, or what makes this base station really function? Just on its own?
No, base stations are very important. I mean, without the base station, we would not have that reference signal out there in the job site. So for example, on your truck, your pickup truck, you put in a location and it drives you through the screen, turn left, turn right, go straight, and you show up at your son's baseball game. We have that same scenario on the job site where our machines are looking at the satellites, but the accuracy that we need on our machines is much greater accuracy than you need on your pickup truck. So what this base station does, it's surveyed in. It sees the satellites and the machine sees the satellites. The base station knows, hey, I know I'm right here, even though the satellites say I'm off a little bit, we call that GPS error. So that GPS error then is communicated to the machines, to this radio on the machine, and that's how our machines get from 2-3 meter accuracy down to golf ball size accuracy. So base stations is a very, very important thing on the job site.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, we have these satellites orbiting Earth that are giving those signals to the base station. The base station is making those corrections and sending that information out to the architecture that's built into the machine. So help take me from base station now to the machine control and guidance on the machine, and what's involved to make all that architecture work.
When you open up that tablet, you can go to a website, and that website information will pull up whether you have an Apple or an Android tablet. Does not make a difference. Well, the information we're pulling up on our machines would be the design. So that design that tells you that we need to have ditches here, we need to have a curb and gutter here, we had to have a center line of the road there, or putting pipe in the ground. That's the information our machines want to give our customer. So that information comes up on the screen. Now that information, where's it come from? That's a big thing. Where's the data come from? It's all about big data. That information comes from the original design that somebody made in AutoCAD type program, and that AutoCAD then is converted into a machine control language. So there's two different flavors. There's a TOPCon language and there's a Trimble language. They don't mix, but they can work together, so you can convert a TOPCon to a Trimble language or a Trimble to a TOPCon language, and then everybody on the site has the same look and feel, but they might have a different language, but they have the same look and feel on their displays.
And that same look and feel really resonates with those customers that I come into contact with. And what I commonly hear back from them is, wow, what a solution, okay? Now I have the seamless connectivity connectivity. I do not need to go through that switching cost to be able to adopt Earthworks technology or CAT grade 3D technology with these semi-automated features. Plus, their staff is already trained up on using that type of base station, that rover, the software that comes with them. Plus, we always want to look out for those folks that are maintaining all this technology infrastructure and equipment, so it really helps them stay with that learning curve and not try to reinvent the wheel per se and learn an entirely new system. Do you experience that as well, being a grade control expert, Scott, and the customers that you talk to?
Yeah, Lonnie, there's some customers that are just very whiz-bang in their technology brand. Sort of like you and I. We're very good friends. You're an Apple brand phone person. I'm an Android brand. If we would switch immediately today, we would both have some struggling to get up to that learning curve. So these customers have their brand that they're very attuned to working with, and it works very well for them. So now being able to get corrections and still see their brand in front of them, they feel comfortable. It would just be like you and me. Sooner or later, I would figure out an Apple phone. It wouldn't be 2 minutes after he gave it to me, but after I mess around and play with it and try some things, I'm gonna figure it out.
Scott, we've referenced one of the most important individuals on the job site a lot in our conversation here, and that is the operator. Somebody, when I was a project manager, I always tried to take exceptional care of because they took care of me and what we were trying to accomplish. We started way out in the stratosphere talking about the satellites orbiting Earth. That starts with the signal that comes to the base station. That then is sent, those corrections, into the machine. Let's get specific to that operator, down to the joystick level, down to the control level. How do we get from satellite to bucket tooth or the cutting edge on a blade? Can you help link us together there as to what really is going on in the mind of the machine?
Yep. So once again, there's a couple major components, and as you can see on the excavator here behind me, Lonnie, we have some GPS antennas, and those antennas are seeing the satellites. So just like your pickup truck again, they're getting signals from the satellite. They've got a receiver built into the machine that's doing all the work and all the math and things of that sort, and then we've got a radio that's getting that correction signal. So you put those components together, and that produces an image on that display right in front of the operator as he's sitting in his cab on where he is, where his bucket tooth are in relationship to the design. Now, how do we figure out from these antennas down to the bucket tooth? So in the excavator, we have something called IMUs, Inertial Measurement Unit. And these IMUs are very, very high-tech angle readings, and they do many different axes at one time. We put one of those on the boom, one of those on the stick, and then a rotation sensor for the bucket. And as those move, it's getting angles and distances and giving immediate reference to the operator up there on the screen. The system is designed into this machine. So there's a nice place for the display. Like you say, the joysticks, they work back and forth so you can interact with that display similar to your truck where you don't have to let go of your steering wheel to control the climate or control the radio. Everything is right there.
That's a great dissertation on exactly how we go all the way from satellite to bucket tooth. Again, great technology, huge benefits out there. We are continuing to see more contractors and our very own customers adopting this technology more and more. We're seeing advancements up to 50% increases in productivity, efficiency, creating the operator to have to put in less inputs to the machine in the semi-autonomous feature, repetitive accuracy. Most importantly, folks, it's a method on safety. Removing those grade checkers on the ground to make sure they're out of harm's way, let that machine go to work. We've referenced the digital design file here a lot in this segment. And that empowers the operator with a vision of the entire job. That entire digital design file can be brought up for that operator to see exactly where he or she needs to be working. It extends the workday, it drives down unit cost, therefore increasing profitability. So just to circle back to interoperability again, base stations of one brand, we've used the TopCon 900 megahertz base station in this example, able to seamlessly communicate out to CAT grade 3D Trimble Earthworks software without having to lay out additional funds and financing potentially to adopt new systems so that they can stay with one brand or the other brand. Again, whether it's Android, Apple, one Wi-Fi network or one cell tower, we encourage you to look into interoperability if you're wanting to take advantage of the new CAT technology that's out there today to make your job and your company more profitable.
So one of the great things I have with my job is I get to reach out and spend a lot of time with contractors on their job sites. So example, we've got a customer and he said, I'm not that big of a contractor, but I do a lot of basements. And boy, it seems like I get in and out of the machine a lot checking grade on basements. He said, what do you have in your new excavator line that will help me with technology? And I said, well, funny thing you mentioned it, because most of our new excavators are coming with standard 2D technology. This is something we call depth and slope. So that's exactly what you guys would be looking for on your job site. And I explained to him that if you would go ahead and get some reference on the job site, whether it's grade stake or original ground, you would put your bucket tooth on that reference, you would bench it, we would call that 0, and then how deep would you like to cut? He said, well, we're in the Midwest, so about 3 foot is what I like to cut. So I said, you put a decrement in of 3 foot. And initially the display is going to tell you you're 3 foot high. But as you're digging and go down towards grade, that cut number is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller, so that eventually you'll be right on grade. And if you engage what we call grade protect, that's a semi-autonomous automatic function, and that's going to physically stop that bucket tooth from going below grade. And he came back and said, well, I never got out of the machine yet to check grade. I said, no, you don't need to check grade out of the machine anymore. You check grade in the machine. It's going to be on that display. He actually is benefiting to this day right now on a new hydraulic excavator from Caterpillar with the 2D functionality for the grade control. He said, I'm digging so many more basements faster, less manpower, I can get the jobs done sooner. And the other thing is, he said, the concrete people coming behind me for the forming are just amazed at how accurate my jobs are based on this new technology. Another contractor showed up, and he's looking at the tractors. He's looking at our track type tractor. He said, I really like your new D6, but I've been in technology for a while and I need to have dual GNSS technology on my tractor. Your tractor doesn't have dual GNSS technology. And I reached out to him and I said, well, why do you think it does not have that? He said, I don't see anything out there on the blade. There's no GPS antenna receivers mounted on the blade. I said, you're exactly correct. There's nothing mounted on the blade for GPS anymore. What we've done at Caterpillar is we've integrated that technology. So the actual antenna is embedded in the roof of the cab. The receiver is embedded in behind the seat out of harm's way. Everything is then still fed into the display, and now you're seeing your cuts and fills and your alignments. He said, if you were putting all these GPS components embedded in the machine, why does this machine have blade mounts in the front? If you look at the machine, there's 3 blade mounts, the left, the right, and the center. Once again, this is an application-based system. So if you're working indoors, the GNSS system will not work because it can't see the satellites. So in this case, a customer could put laser or UTS on those blade mounts, plug into already pre-wired connectors, and now he has another type of technology solution on his machine. GNSS is approximately about a golf ball size accuracy. This UTS, that's 1/8 of an inch accuracy. So much tighter tolerances, both running 3D. Another contractor came to me and said, this is awesome, I love the integration, but your systems are integrated and they only work with Trimble base stations. I said, well, we do have solutions now for you to help your interoperability issues. The first question I'm going to ask you is, what brand base station do you have? He came back and he said he's got a TopCon base station. I said, okay. Once again, I'm going to consult with you. I need to know whether that's a 450 megahertz base station or a 900 megahertz base station. He said it's a 450 megahertz base station. I said, okay, we have a solution. We've got a radio that we can put on the machine that looks identical to this radio that's on this tractor now. The only difference is inside that radio, there's a different card and it's not putting out a 900 megahertz channel to Trimble. It's going to put a 450, and our 450 will match that TopCon's 450. So now you can seamlessly work off your existing TopCon base station and run the latest and greatest machine and the latest and greatest technology. The other thing we like to reflect upon is the supportability, because everybody's system is awesome when it's working. If there's any hiccups, that's when you really have to reach out to your relationships to get you back up and running again. So at Caterpillar, our dealers have specific, dedicated technology people. You can talk to them for the features and benefits, and you can also talk to them for the supportability. Contractors, I look for you to reach out and invest in this new technology. Whether you're a new user or existing user, we have a solution to make your job site more efficient.
Dozers perform many functions on job sites, which is why they're a great addition to any construction fleet. And while many operators are familiar with the basic operating techniques, most are not aware of the advanced productivity features available on the new CAT dozers. The first productivity feature I would like to share with you today is auto mode. This mode is found in the work settings menu and provides the operator with two options. The first is snap to grade, which snaps the blade to design grade when it is in the capture range. The second option the operator has is latch to grade, which drives the blade down to design grade and latches on and proceeds from there. Now the second productivity mode I would like to share with you, and this feature is a game changer, folks, in productivity and efficiency, and that is auto carry. Auto carry maximizes through blade lift and lower the blade load capacity. It stabilizes the efficiency of the blade and reduces track slip. Now the third productivity feature available on the new CAT dozers is slope assist. In this cross slope feature, there are three different modes the operator can choose from. The manual mode, which provides the operator with slope indicate both in the main fall and the blade cross slope. The second option is auto mode. It allows the operator to preset the main fall slope and the blade cross slope, and then the tractor goes and achieves those automatic slopes without inputs additional by the operator. The third feature is the advanced mode. This allows the operator to use recall values to drive the blade to predetermined main fall and cross slopes. So these are three productivity features available on the CAT dozers. These features, again, will help you be most efficient on the job site, removing additional inputs from the operator, making them feel more refreshed at the end of their shift, safer and more profitable on your job site.
Everybody knows about hearts and keeping your heart healthy. Your doctor tells you that all the time. Your significant other tells you that. You got to exercise, watch what you eat. The same thing applies to construction equipment. The hydraulic pump in the hydraulic system acts much like the heart's the vein and the artery in the human body. You have to maintain it in order to keep your machine running efficiently, keep your work productive, and keep your costs low. One of the ways to maintain your hydraulic system is by a simple walk around. Every day, or at the end of every shift, or in between shifts, depending on your company policies, you want to walk around the machine. And hydraulic-wise, you want to be looking for leaks, smudges, spills, loose connections, loose fittings. Again, you don't want any blood coming out of your arm. You don't want any hydraulic fluid coming out of a machine. To help you do that, you can use the CAT Inspect app. And using the CAT Inspect app will literally walk the operator or the person doing the walk around the machine, giving them different areas to check and look. You can take pictures, you can save pictures, you can order parts from that app if you need a replacement part. You can send the inspection form to your dealer. Your dealer can help you troubleshoot anything that you may see in that daily walk around. Best off, you can save it. So no more paper in the back pockets, no more papers getting smudged by grease or oil during the walk around. You have an electronic copy that you can easily save. So again, going back to the basics, do your walk arounds, do them religiously, use the CAT Inspect app to help you do it. Make sure that you're checking all your systems, including the heart of your construction equipment, to make sure that you're staying efficient and productive as possible. That wraps up our topic today on interoperability. Let's take a minute and go through what we learned and what you experienced today. First, we explained what interoperability was, of how different machines with different technologies can all connect, interact on a job site to increase your production, efficiency, and most importantly, your profitability. Then we talked about grade control technology. We talked about grade 2D, 2D advanced, the Wicked Cool 3D, the advantages, the pros, the cons, when to use, when not to use. Then we talked about maintenance. This particular one, we talked about your hydraulic system and how that's like a heart And the hoses are like the veins and the arteries in your body, that it's critical to keep that maintained. Regardless of the technology that we put on, you still have to do maintenance on that machine. We also talked about the CAT Inspect app, making your inspections and your daily walkarounds easier to do. Last but not least, Ask an Expert, where we answered the common questions that you may have, either from you or your peers. And don't forget about our resource section. Visit that. Again, you can use that information on your particular job sites in the future. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.